In rural Pennsylvania, there's a house locals warn you about, but only on Fridays. It doesn't show up on Google Maps. It doesn't exist during the week. And if you stay inside past Sunday night, no one has ever seen you again. In October 2019, I was driving through Huntington County, Pennsylvania, visiting my uncle. Around 11:40 p.m., my GPS lost signal. That's common out there. Miles of forest, no streetlights, just narrow roads cutting through darkness. Then I saw it. A 2-story farmhouse, white paint peeling, porch light on. I'd driven this road dozens of times before. The house had never been there. A wooden sign stood at the end of the driveway. Open house, weekends only. I laughed it off, some Halloween prank, but something felt wrong. No decorations, no cars, no sound, not even insects. Curiosity beat logic. I pulled in. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the house smelled old, dust, mildew, something metallic. Every room was fully furnished, like a family had just vanished. On the wall hung framed photos, but here's the thing. Every photo showed the same family standing in front of the house in different decades, 1940s, 1960s, 1980s, early 2000s. Same parents, same 2 kids, never aging. As I stared at the photos, I noticed something new. In the most recent frame, dated 2018, I was standing on the porch behind them. My heart pounded. I backed toward the door. It wouldn't open. Then the radio on the kitchen counter turned on by itself, static crackling before a man's calm voice spoke. "Welcome. If you're hearing this, you're considering staying." The voice explained the rules. 1. You may leave before Sunday midnight. 2. Do not sleep. 3. If you hear knocking, do not answer. 4. If you see someone who looks like you, run. The radio shut off. That's when I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, heavy, too many. I grabbed my phone. No signal, no service, not even emergency calls. A grandfather clock began ticking loudly in the hallway. It read 11:59 p.m. Saturday. I noticed something carved on the wooden staircase railing. Dozens of names. Some were faded, some fresh. At the bottom, carved deep and clean, was mine, with tomorrow's date. The knocking began. 3 slow knocks on the front door. Then a voice called out. My voice. "Hey, it's me. You forgot something." Footsteps rushed down the stairs. I ran into the basement, slamming the door behind me. Down there were sleeping bags, stacks of journals, and security camera monitors. Each screen showed someone else inside the house, across different years. All of them looked exhausted, all of them fighting sleep. One journal explained everything. The house feeds on awareness. If you fall asleep, it replaces you. Your life continues, just not with you in it. The family in the photos, they were the first. Everyone else was just added. The house only appears on weekends because that's when people are tired enough to make mistakes. The clock upstairs chimed 11:59 p.m. Sunday. I heard breathing behind. I sprinted upstairs, bursting through the front door as the clock struck midnight. I fell onto the gravel driveway. The house vanished. No road, no porch, just trees. I made it back to my uncle's place, shaken but alive. Monday morning, I checked the local paper online. A headline caught my eye. Man found wandering roadway, claims he escaped haunted house. The photo showed me, except the article was dated 2018, and the man in the photo was still missing. Last Friday night, while driving home, I passed the same road again. The porch light was on, and This time, someone was standing inside, watching me leave. Some houses are haunted by the dead. Others are haunted by the people who escaped, just not in time. In West Virginia, there's a house people swear they've driven past for years, but no one can remember ever seeing its front windows. And if you stop your car and look too long, the house starts looking back. In 2021, I was driving Route 52 near Welch, West Virginia, a coal mining town surrounded by hills and fog. It was close to midnight when my headlights caught a farmhouse sitting too close to the road. 2 stories, gray siding, lights on inside. But something felt wrong. As I slowed down, I realized the entire front of the house had no windows, just blank siding and a single front door. No curtains, no reflections, no glass. Locals call it the listening house. I pulled over to take a photo. My phone camera refused to focus. Every image came out warped, like the house was bending inward. Then I noticed the mailbox. It had dozens of names carved into it, some crossed out, some circled. One was fresh. As soon as I stepped out of the car, the house made a sound, not a creak, but a deep inhale. The front door was already open. Inside, the house was narrow and long, like it had been stretched. The walls were covered with framed handwritten letters. Hundreds of them. They weren't addressed. They were transcripts. Every frame contained a conversation, arguments, confessions, last phone calls. I recognized one immediately. It was a word-for-word transcript of a fight I'd had with my father 10 years earlier. I hadn't remembered it until I read it. Then I heard voices upstairs, not whispers, full conversations. A woman crying, a man begging, a child repeating, "You promised." The hallway had doors on both sides, each one slightly open. Inside every room sat a chair facing the wall, and behind each chair, the wall was breathing. One door had a name scratched into it, not carved, scratched from the inside. My name. I ran for the stairs. Halfway up, I noticed something impossible. From inside the house, I could now see windows, dozens of them, but they weren't facing outside. Every window looked into another room of the same house, each one showing a different moment of someone's life. Arguments, secrets, regrets. The house wasn't haunted, it was listening. A journal lay open at the top of the stairs. The writer claimed the house feeds on unspoken truths. The more you deny, the deeper you go. People who enter don't disappear, they become rooms. The house doesn't need windows facing the road. It already sees everything inside you. That's when I heard my own voice behind me, calmly saying, "You're almost done." I don't remember leaving the house. I only remember standing back on the road, gasping for air. My car was gone. My phone was on the ground, screen cracked. The photo I tried to take earlier had finally saved, but it wasn't the house. It was a windowless wall with a framed transcript mounted on it, a conversation I was having right now. Last month, I drove that road again. The house was still there, still no windows, but this time, the mailbox had one more name crossed out and a new one carved underneath. Yours. Some haunted houses are filled with ghosts. Others are built from the things you refuse to say out. In northern Illinois, there's a house that has never been sold, not because no one wants it, but because every potential buyer sees footage of themselves inside the house before they ever step through the door. In 2022, I was browsing foreclosure listings near Rockford, Illinois, looking for cheap property to flip. One house stood out. No price listed, no interior photos, just one line of text. Viewing available, recording in progress. Curious, I drove out. The house sat at the end of a dead street. Normal, suburban, but the front windows were blacked out from the inside, like mirrors turned backward. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the living room was empty, except for a TV mounted on the wall. It turned on by itself. The screen showed security camera footage of me standing outside the house from behind. The footage rewound and showed me entering the house 5 minutes in the future. The TV clicked off. A hallway light turned on by itself. Each room contained a screen. Every screen showed a different person, walking, talking, arguing, sleeping. Some looked confused, some terrified, all unaware they were being watched. A handwritten note was taped to the hallway wall. Do not interact with your future recording. In the kitchen, a monitor showed my own feed again, but now it was delayed. Every movement I made happened on screen 3 seconds earlier than in real life. I lifted my hand. The screen lifted it first. A new message appeared at the bottom of the screen. Recording accepted. The basement door creaked open. Downstairs were shelves filled with labeled hard drives, names, dates, addresses, thousands of them. A notebook explained everything. The house doesn't trap bodies, it traps patterns. Once the house perfectly records how you move, think, and react under stress, it no longer needs you. It plays you instead. That's why the windows are dark. What's inside is always watching something more interesting. Footsteps echoed upstairs. Not mine. Perfect copies. I ran out the front door. Outside, the street felt wrong. Too quiet. I checked my phone. I had missed 47 calls from my sister, all from last week. Her last voicemail played automatically. You've been home all day. Why aren't you answering me? I turned back toward the house. The front window lights turned on. Through the glass, I saw myself standing in the living room, watching the door, waiting for someone else to arrive. Some haunted houses steal your soul. This one just learns you well enough to replace it.